Hey, this is Russ with Winged Saber Historical Fencing.
Hi, I'm Kat.
We had a viewer say, hey, what about style versus style matchups? How does that work? That's a good question, and it's important. This lineage is practical in a way that lets it be used in a variety of contexts. My mentor, Professor Hedon, for example, has used it for years in experimental archaeology to see what can be learned thereby. And we're fortunate that Hungary has a really vibrant experimental archaeology scene. That said, if you don't know how to deal with people from other styles, what we do is at a relative disadvantage in tournaments, because we're sort of optimized like an all-terrain vehicle, and if we're racing a little rice burner motorcycle, we have to adjust. And we do that by creating terrain for our opponent that's not so friendly to them. So Kat's going to be an evil red alien today, which is good because she adores footwork. As she sets up, go ahead and be in third so you're just casual rather than second for right now. As she sets up in third and I set up on center line, I have a real problem. One of which is we're slightly condensed for camera purposes, but even if I scooch back off camera to my engagement range, I want to be here where these tips are touching. My disembodied ghost talking to you half off camera, this is about as far back as I want to go. This is, I'm already trying to shank you range for her. She will be attacking when I'm about here because she can lunge. Go ahead and lunge. See, her tip goes all the way off camera. She has all the reach in the world. Recover. I have relatively less range. I have to find a way to approach her so that I can fence aggressively and not yield the initiative to her the entire bout, in which case you will lose. And to do so without getting shanked on my way in. And one of the ways I'm going to do that, guard a third again, please, is I'm not going to set up here. If I set up here, everything I do over here is more or less irrelevant, and Kat can jump to fourth if she needs to, and Kat will jump to fourth. It is her favorite guard. But she can immediately thrust here, thrust here. I have to guess very, very accurately, as I always do, but I also have to guess very quickly, because a proper lunge travels at fastball speeds, 90 miles an hour or better. God help you if you're fencing somebody who's an A-rated fencer, because they're clocking 97, 98, 99 or more. It's actual major league fastball speeds as opposed to collegiate level. What I want to do instead is set up on her blade. She will not like this because now everything she does to her outside line is completely irrelevant. And I get to come in this way and pressure her, and I get to come in this way and pressure her. Come back to second, please. But all of her fencing is predicated on this space. So if I can set up here, I have a bunch of stuff that she now gets locked on the outside line for while I play casual fun hijinks. If I'm here, on the other hand, I do things and she's like, haha, inside line games, and then she stabs me in the face, although she'll do it this way because red eye alien. This is a bad scene for me. It gives her the advantage in distance. It gives her the advantage in attack speed off the lunge. If I can set up on my sagittal plane in relation to the strong of her weapon, I can begin attempting to get engagement. And I want engagement because from engagement, I can start fencing her from distances in which she is really, really uncomfortable. I have a colleague who fences red eye alien and plays with this method sometimes, and he refers to our fencing as pants-poopingly close. It is. But the disadvantage of that is, like every fencer, you have to learn to cross the gap. And when you're playing against somebody in a sided stance, you have a big gap to cross because I'm in hurt me range here. Can you back up ever so slightly? Go off camera just a touch. I'm still in, she is ready to absolutely attack range. I'm not at my preferred distance. As a passing step, I can barely threaten her here. unless I do something stupid and explosive that's liable to get me shanked. I need to get somehow here. And if I can do something to command her blade or obtain engagement in any way, then I get to start chasing her into a corner, smack her, shank her, etc. There are also some minor disadvantages to sighted guards you can take advantage of. I'm going to cut one. Could you please parry 4? We're going to be compressed in distance for camera purposes. This is, if you do not know the false edge, a beautiful guard. This is how I absolutely sailed through pools with my back out, barely able to walk effectively the last time I went to a fencing tournament up in New England. Oh, look, she has the perfect bind. By taking advantage of false edge techniques, we do have a sort of secret weapon that a lot of other styles don't have, and that's that false edge attacks are absolutely casual for us. They require almost no setup. For HEMA people who are accustomed to Silver's terms, bent, spent, lying spent and figuring out what to do, and withdrawing, we don't have that lying spent phase. If I attack, I can attack. If I attack, I can attack. If I attack, I can attack. I always have something I can be doing to maintain the initiative if I can cross the gap. If not, footwork-loving fencers, see that grin? All the Radaelian types adore their footwork, and for good reason. They turned advanced lunge from a borderline technique into an absolute mainstay. Their footwork is absolute kryptonite to us unless you are on your A game about managing distance and time. So move to where you have the advantage rather than where they do, and you'll have a much easier time fencing. Thanks. Go do the thing. We've got more videos and content coming, so if you liked what you saw and it was useful for you, please stab the like button, /subscribe, and punch the little bell icon so that you're notified immediately when new content comes available. Thanks, and go do the thing.